Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the BroadBoys podcast. Today, I am Micah, and this is Cade.
Yes, I am.
And we are going to be talking about how we've been the last week. At least that's where we're going to start.
Okay. If that's how you want to roll it, how about you start then?
Okay. So, big thing. I moved this week.
Yep.
Which was an adventure all on its own. I was officially homeless for 2 days.
But that didn't stop you from gaming, did it?
That didn't stop me from gaming.
Of course, of course.
I played a lot of Minecraft this week on my laptop because that's what runs well.
Okay.
And I had a good time. Built a mushroom tower.
Mushroom tower.
Yes.
Nice.
But okay. As far as that start goes, whatever. What I really wanted to talk about this week, at least something that I saw this week, and why I'm really disappointed, is there was a Facebook market listing for a N64 with like 80 different games.
Okay.
And they wanted $70 for it.
That's it?
That's it.
And why didn't you take it?
I tried. They never responded to me.
No.
They never even marked it as like sold. I said, "Hey, I'll pay it. I'll be there today." No response at all. And I'm like,
Dang.
Bro, and he didn't even mark it as sold for like 3 days later. And so I know he saw it.
Dang.
He just didn't take my offer.
Well, yeah, it's crazy trying to get retro systems nowadays.
I know.
I mean, because now even buying like an Xbox 360, PS3, you gotta pull teeth with a lot of people sometimes.
I know, right?
The best case scenario, and it's summer while we're recording this, is if you find an ignorant older person with their sons or relatives' systems, you can generally get out.
Just like at a garage sale.
Yeah, garage sales. Yeah.
Be like, "Hey, I'll buy this for $20. Sound good?"
Yeah. Well, you know, you upsell it a little bit, and you're like, I don't know, and then you gotta play the game.
Yeah, I mean, most people don't really know what they're worth.
Yeah, but you actually wanted an N64. You're thinking about it.
Well, I mean, dude.
Well, for that price.
For that price, heck yeah.
I would have gotten it for a bit higher too, but
I would have probably gone for a bit higher too. I mean, they had almost all of like the mainstream games for it.
Yeah,
like,
dude, that's so cool. I've been wanting to. Alright, this is like not necessarily a developed thought, but like I did some scrolling, but I've been wanting to get a nice CRT.
Oh,
a CRT TV, because I was thinking about how, you know, pixel art and the way that we think about pixel art nowadays is actually a lot different than it actually was in the 90s.
Do you know how much space you need for like a decent sized CRT?
Well, it wouldn't be like a huge one.
You'd just get like one of the little ones.
Yeah, like, you know, like a 20-inch or something like that.
But see, that's also kind of like...
They're heavy.
They are so
heavy. They're very heavy.
Oh my goodness.
I'm used to CRTs. It's been a while since I've used one. Oh my goodness.
So, a couple of years ago, we had this massive one that was in the basement of my parents' cabin. And they had the big chest and everything, you know, that it just sticks in. Mm-hmm. I swear that thing had to weigh like 100-something pounds. Like I mean, it was like big TV.
Yeah. No, they're nice. Well, they're big and they weigh a lot, but there's something special about them, I would say. Like, all right, for your pixel art, like Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis games, it like rounds out the pixels, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And then when you get into like your N64 PS1, it also feels like not necessarily cleaner. But, you know, nowadays people are so obsessed with, like, up-resing and stuff like that.
Well, all the pixels match, right? So, like, on your high-res monitor, if you're playing something older, your pixels are really crisp, and you can tell that it's a bunch of pixels, right?
Yeah.
But when you're... It's like the whole, like, squint and you can see it. Mm-hmm. That's the whole thing with a CRT... oh, goodness. A CRTV is... Yeah. It all just kind of mushes the pixels together.
It kind of smooths it out in a way and rounds out all the sharp edges and stuff.
Absolutely.
I thought about it because I saw a random video about how, like, the pixel art style never really existed.
Yeah.
But now it's a style. You know, you could say it never existed before, but now it definitely...
Well, yeah, no one looked at, like, 8-bit or something and said, this is pixel art.
Yeah.
You know, because that was just...
They didn't see the pixels.
It was you didn't really see the pixels.
Yeah.
It's like when I was younger, I remember playing the PS2 and PS3 games. goodness, the Monster Jam or the Extreme Sportswear.
Yeah.
And those I always was like, I never noticed any issues. And I mean, I know I was younger, but I went and I played those on a newer TV, and I'm like, this looks awful. This is trash.
Yeah.
You know? And to a point where I didn't feel like I could play it. And so there's always this part of me that's like, it really is designed for the technology of the time.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to play it on that technology.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because nowadays, like, pixel art is such a prominent style.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, it's literally like a meme where it's like, oh, another indie 2D pixelated Metroidvania or beat 'em up or whatever, you know. Not beat 'em, barely anyone makes beat 'em ups nowadays. But you know what I mean? It's like, it's such a meme nowadays, and it's crazy because that pixel art style really wasn't, like, that big.
No,
you
I know.
What I mean? Or, like, no one really thought about pixel art as, like, being a style.
Yeah, no, like when people thought of like ASCII as pixel art, you know, you're gonna create a picture out of all your keys.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think the game that really set like the pixel art style, at least for the modern era for me, that I can remember is like Shovel Knight. When Shovel Knight happened in like 2013, it was supposed to be like the return to form 8-bit like 8-bit indie game back when indie games were really starting to get like mainstream.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, when pixel art really started to be like, all right, this is what pixel art is. Or like, oh, this was the style that we had.
Yeah, like a pixel art game.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this is retro. This is like returning to where we were. But really, that's not what it actually looked like in like real life.
Yeah,
that's what the information shows you.
It's what you perceive retro games to be, right? Even though they didn't really look like that on the console as you played it.
Yeah.
So
you know, this is a great segue because there's a style of games you actually don't like a lot, or at least you feel like, you know, you don't like the more cartoony style of games.
Yeah.
Right? You've said that before, right? You want to... I'll give you this platform.
Okay.
Just tell me why.
I don't know. So there's a surface level. I don't like... Okay, so one cartoony-esque game that I've really enjoyed is like Battle Block Theater.
Okay.
I've played quite a bit of it. It's still just kind of like the very vibrant colors and everything else like that. One, kind of gives me a headache. Just, I can't do it long term.
Okay.
But that's kind of beside the point. It just feels like a bunch of blech on the screen.
A bunch of bleh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess is how I would say it.
Which is interesting because you like the gritty, like dark, monotone style, which you know, is a bunch of dirt on the screen.
I think the big thing with those is that the things that do pop are the things you're meant to look at. I struggle with where it's all just saturation on my screen.
Okay.
That's just something I'm not a huge fan of.
Yes.
Is when everything on my screen is super highly saturated. I don't really know. Your eye is not drawn to your individual, what you're supposed to be looking at.
Okay.
I guess is a big like design piece I have.
Okay.
And they always compensate with like your camera's locked to your character, or you know your character might just be an off color from everything else, even though it's all the same saturated, you know, high volume colors.
Okay.
Anyway, that's probably
the main reason.
That's probably my personal main reason. It's not necessarily the games. I've played plenty of them and I enjoy them, right? Like I'll play Splatoon.
But you just don't like the more saturated, poppy, cartoony art style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where does Minecraft fall in there? Because you've been playing a lot of Minecraft.
Minecraft isn't as saturated, I think, is the big thing.
It's pretty saturated.
I also play with shaders and such, so I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
It's smooth.
I'm just saying.
That
it's just
feeling.
something I've been thinking about. You know, you've been talking about how you like the more realistic kind of games, and
I will say, if you put like any cartoon game and put it up against Minecraft, Minecraft generally is darker colors, significantly more monotone. It's not.
All right, give me some examples of cartoony games you don't like the style for.
Most of them that I come to is like Mario.
Okay.
That's,
like, give me an example, please.
Mario World.
It's like Super Mario World.
Yeah.
For the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. So you look at that, okay, and then you take like Mario All Stars. I never had an issue with Mario All Stars.
Okay.
But I did.
The other Super Nintendo game, that was the collection.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I didn't have an issue with Mario All Stars, but I did have an issue with like Mario World.
Okay.
So I don't know, and maybe it's just the style. It is just the style. That's
the
literally
style.
what we're talking about. It's the
Yes.
style, right? One feels right, one doesn't, and I don't know. I guess I'd rather play a Witcher than play a Zelda.
Okay.
It's just
Well, it's interesting.
Attack.
Yep.
Dog attack.
For audio listeners, my dog just came in, is saying hi. But that's okay. No, I'm a big advocate for all art styles.
I love all art styles. It's just what I'm gonna play.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. But you talk with such authority as if like, well, this game looks like a cartoon.
I don't like.
And then you say it as if it's a negative on many occasions.
I think there is a certain cop out to it, but
cop out.
No, okay. So I'm getting to a point now where hyper realistic is a cop out because of like Unreal Engine 5 and stuff like that. And so my opinion on that is becoming reversed, where now if you're doing something super animated, cartoony, like a unique style, like that is something new. But from 3 to 5 years ago, right? It took a lot to design something that didn't feel Uncanny Valley for a realistic looking game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot more intention that comes with some of your more animated art styles.
Yeah.
You know, so, and as much as the chase for realism in new gen games is like cool to see, like, I don't know, there's something about like a game aging well that goes along with that art style.
No,
like,
I completely agree.
Like the best example for that is like when the GameCube came out, they released a little demo video that showed a realistic, not realistic, a more like gritty and dark themed like Link versus Ganon fight.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, that's gonna be the new Zelda game. That's gonna be it. And then Wind Waker comes out, and that's like, you know, super cartoony. Yep. And at the time, that was like not received well.
Yeah.
But like you look like 20 years later now, it's been, and people, you know, if you look at the original GameCube game, even versus Twilight Princess, which they were like, all right, they wanted this grittier thing, let's do that. I think most people would say that Wind Waker aged a lot better, and because of their art style and because of the intention behind it, it was able to withstand and look a lot better overall.
Yeah.
Hey, don't be alarmed. This is Future Cade here. You might notice a slight audio shift, but that is A-okay. Don't worry, you're going to be safe. Just sit back, relax, listen to the rest of what we have to say.
A lot of games that tried to look realistic obviously don't age well because things they look more realistic, right? And so I guess really your art style and how it ages is sort of inverse to what you would expect, right? So a realistic game 10 years ago does not look realistic today. However, a cartoony game 10 years ago will still look cartoony today. That hasn't changed, right?
And because of that consistent art style and that it looks...
I do think 10 years ago, though, you look at all these cartoony games.
Well, 10 years ago is 360 and PS3.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You go 10 years ago, and you look at all these cartoony games.
Okay.
It was form factor then, which I guess is where a lot of my bias comes from, is then I was always pushing for something that, you know, I liked the type of game, but I didn't like how they all kind of looked the same.
The cartoony games?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the realistic games look way more similar than the cartoony games.
Yes, that's where my opinion is starting to change, is all of those real ones now are starting to really...
I mean, how many years in like... It's been like 5 years in every like E3 or summer showcase. It's like that game looks the same.
Yep, it all looks exactly the same,
yeah. That game and that game.
I completely agree. And that's... So, a piece that steps off of that is The Witcher 4 is not going to be using the Red Engine.
I didn't even know Witcher 4 was existing.
Yeah, that's actually their biggest thing they're working on right now is Witcher 4. So
Sweet.
They took all their devs off of Cyberpunk. They took all their devs off Cyberpunk, so there's now only, I think, 10 people working on Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And they've got a couple hundred now working on the next Witcher game.
Sweet.
Which they gave the release, so the school's going to be the School of the Lynx. So, anyway.
I don't know too much about The Witcher.
So that's a school that isn't actually in the books.
That's
So
right,
the idea
it's
is
a
it'll-
book series first. That's...
Yep, the books came first, and then the game is a sequel to it. So the
Okay.
games can do whatever they want.
Yeah, I gotcha. I gotcha.
So it's a new school, and I'm excited to see how they do it. But anyway, they're moving away from the Red Engine, and the current belief is that they're just going to be using Unreal Engine 5.
Okay.
And so the tough part is while it's going to look, it's going to look very real, they're going to have to really sell it as looking like something else, right?
Okay.
And so I don't know. I don't want it to look like all other Unreal Engine 5 games.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's CD Projekt Red. They're going to do something, and it's not going to look like every other Unreal Engine 5 game. But my worry is it will.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you think about games that blend in with each other, like there are other AAA games that definitely fit into that mold, but aren't perceived that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like think about when Fallout 4 came out. There was a lot of games that looked like Fallout 4.
Yeah.
But people still distinguished Fallout 4
Yep.
from that. What do you think? That's just IP, name brand?
No. I think what it has to do is atmosphere, right?
Okay.
You can make a game that looks the same. But can you capture the same atmosphere a game gives off?
Okay.
Which is where a lot of realistic games are going these days, is what sort of atmosphere does it invoke? So, like, Into the Radius is a VR game. It's based off Stalker, so you're going into this radiated zone and you're dealing with anomalies and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It looks great. Looks very real. Looks like any other post-apocalyptic game. Except there's these glowing objects and these dark shadows that move along the ground, right? And they're actual enemies, and there are things that are floating with the slight blue hue around it, right? And so even though it looks form factor like a lot of other things, that atmosphere while you're in the game makes it feel completely unique.
Okay.
And so that's where a lot of these realistic games are moving towards, my opinion, is towards this atmosphere. How do you feel? Immersion.
Yeah, but I feel like to make your atmosphere like kind of stand out, you gotta really push into like super fantasy or super sci-fi or super like apocalyptic, like that sort of deal. Because like if you just go for like a gritty, realistic, like very realistic base, I can't think of the genre.
A horror is a good example.
Yeah.
A lot of horror games these days all look the same.
Yeah, but it's where you're at, the settings that you're in, that really make a difference.
Story.
Yeah, that's story too.
I don't know. I think there's a level of, if everything's form factor, it's other things that have to shine, right?
Yeah.
And so if it's a style you're looking for, then you want, you're like, I like this art style. And you find games with that art style. Then how do you differentiate them?
Yeah.
Because it's like Hollow Knight. There's so many Hollow Knight clones out there. But they're not Hollow Knight. Because Hollow Knight has its own gameplay style, its own music, its own atmosphere.
Until Silksong comes out.
Until Silksong comes out.
Which, hopefully that comes out.
I'm still hoping.
Yeah.
Still hoping.
Yeah, it's, man, like, did you have like, when I was a kid, I was super into elements and super into, the different atmospheres, like you were saying. Like, I loved ice caverns. That sort of deal, like, that was my jam. Like, ice, like, snowy areas. I hate the physics, like, don't get me wrong. Like, most games I played, I didn't actually enjoy playing the ice levels, but like, looking at them, they feel, like, special and stick out in my mind. Like, I still remember ice caves from like Donkey Kong Country, or even like ice caves in Skyrim and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, probably my favorite, at least atmospheric, is mountains.
Okay. Can we shake that deserts are trash in games?
Yeah, deserts are awful. There's nothing to look at.
I have never met anyone.
There's nothing to do.
I've never met anyone who is like, out of all the level types and stuff like that, I love deserts.
Yeah, it's so... What do you got? You got a couple sand hills. You got more sand. Some
ruins.
Some ruins. Just in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. I don't know. I think of the desert level from Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
And it's
with
like,
the train?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so open. It's so boring. And
it's like how can someone like deserts? I don't understand.
I don't get it.
It doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all. Like even in exploration games, when you get a desert's only cool once you build something in the desert.
Yes. Yeah, like a forest, has innate threats and an innate feeling and stuff like that. I mean, the desert certainly has a feeling. It's boring.
I guess the only desert that I've enjoyed is in Dune. Dune has a good desert.
Does it though? But you don't care about the actual desert.
Okay, I take it back. The only reason I enjoy the desert is because they travel through it so fast.
Yeah, and they travel through it so fast with the sandworms and all that.
So I guess maybe there isn't redeeming a desert.
No, you can't redeem a desert.
A desert's just sand.
It is. All right. The last desert thing, I was a little bit impressed by it was like Mario Wonder's desert levels didn't actually feel like desert levels.
That's fair.
Which was cool, but it's because the only reason why I thought it was cool is because it wasn't actually a desert.
Yeah. Well, I think we're being harsh on the term desert. Here's a fun fact for you.
Okay.
So, a biome that's a desert is called a desert because of its precipitation level, not from an absence of water. So there are deserts, like in South America,
that have lots of
bodies of water separated by these giant dunes.
Okay.
And so I think that would be really cool, a setting like that, but no one would look at it and call it a desert, which is unfortunate. Because when someone says a desert, you have in your mind just a giant wasteland of sand.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily true.
Yeah. Alright, so you like mountains.
I like mountains.
I like ice caves.
Mm-hmm.
Standard plains. What do you think?
Plains are fine.
I think they're base level.
They're just definitely a base.
There's your starter.
Yeah.
Alright, what about stormy, wind,
I really love ocean games.
Okay.
Even though I have a massive fear of deep water.
Oh, deep water.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I even played Sea of Thieves a couple months ago, and just jumping in the water gives me this sense of
Okay.
And it's it shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah. That's when I first played you're testing out the fall damage.
Yep.
Some games really make you feel it in your stomach.
Like you're falling, yeah.
Yeah.
I was playing the first time I played Windlands in VR, which is a swing from a rope type thing. It really gives you a real vertigo feeling.
That's crazy. But yeah, that's what's going on. We like the way things look.
I agree.
Especially when it looks a certain way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Just like we love games from 2004.
Okay. Cheesy transition, and we're in talking about Game of the Year again.
I got no idea what this is going to be.
So, I bet you do know what it is. Both our favorite, the BAFTAs.
Yep.
And our other favorite, DICE.
Okay.
Both picked Half-Life 2.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So that's pretty
Half-Life
easy.
2.
That's Half-Life 2.
But what else came out?
So you might be wondering to yourself, what else came out that year?
I am.
You're gonna recognize some of these big names like Halo 2.
Okay.
And Metal Gear Solid 3.
Okay, Snake Eater, yeah.
Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Oh, wow.
And Far Cry.
Yeah.
Doom 3. Silent Hill 4. Prince of Persia, The Warrior Within.
I don't remember that Prince of Persia.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
2?
Yep. Yep, to the Sith Lord.
Yes.
Jack 3.
Okay.
Spider-Man 2.
I'm sure there's some Jack fans.
I'm sure there is.
Spider-Man 2.
The Sims 2.
That's a good one.
WoW. World of Warcraft.
World of Warcraft came out of it?
Mm-hmm. Man. Metroid Prime 2. Echoes.
Great game.
Pikmin 2.
Also amazing game.
Fable.
Girl, another... What the heck is going on? 2004.
The original Rome Total War. I played that.
I did not.
Ratchet and Clank. Up Your Arsenal.
Yep. That's the third one, I believe.
Paper Mario.
The Thousand Year Door. Ooh, that one.
The Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventures.
You don't need to list that one.
That was released in North America.
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts Chains of Memories.
Okay.
Was released in Japan that year. Super Mario 64 DS. Boom.
Okay. So DS came out.
Tony Hawk's Underground 2.
Dude, this is such a stacked year.
I know. There's more, right?
Yeah.
Splinter Cell, Pandora Tomorrow. Goodness. Lots of Legend of Zelda, The Minish Cap.
That one's
got released in Europe.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
Lot of games.
A lot of games. Yeah.
That being said, I think Half-Life 2 is great. I love Half-Life 2.
Yeah. It's Half-Life 2. I would love to argue with it. Yeah, I kind of will, but I don't know.
That being said, in Japan they were picking Dragon Quest 8.
Came out in Japan.
And Gran Turismo 4.
Dude. This was an insanely stacked year.
That being said...
This might be one of the best gaming years we've had so far in terms of what we've talked about.
That being said, I think the reason why Half-Life gets it, and will always get it in this year, is it is probably one of the first real-time physics engine games.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And not only that, it holds up to today. It totally does. It totally does.
Holds up.
It holds up.
Is the word. It holds up would be how you would say that.
It holds up because you can totally go back.
It holds up, but it has to work to hold up. But yeah, I mean, I would still play it.
There have been, it does have that issue where sometimes modern graphics cards just can't play the game. It's fine, they've put out fixes for it.
It's a 32-bit game, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. I didn't enjoy Half-Life 2 that much.
That's a crazy.
I didn't enjoy it that much. I'm sorry. No. I don't know. I was just,
Okay. Well, did you play Halo 2?
I did.
Trying to think what else could be
half of Halo 2.
Okay. San Andreas.
Yes, I played San Andreas.
Far Cry 1. I didn't
play Far Cry 1.
I don't know. What would you give as game of the year?
You're not gonna like any of my top picks.
No, I don't think I will.
Probably Metroid Prime 2.
That's such a crazy take.
I don't know. I enjoyed that game way more than Half-Life 2.
Metroid Prime 2?
Metroid Prime 2 with the D at the end of Metroid, yes. It's a great 3D Metroidvania. Pikmin 2 is also great.
I mean, Pikmin 2...
The game that I had the most fun playing out of that list was Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. That is the game I had the most fun playing on that list.
Okay. So, and like we've talked before, it's not about the most fun game.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I just give it to Half-Life. I wouldn't even... It was revolutionary.
Right. Does it deserve it? Most likely.
Okay.
Most likely.
Okay.
I'm not going to argue with that, Were they wrong to choose that game? Definitely not.
Okay.
They were not wrong to choose that game.
I hear what you're saying. Okay.
They were not wrong to choose that game.
So they were not wrong to choose the game?
No, not at all.
Half-Life 2 deserved the win. But what would you have picked?
What would I have picked?
Yeah, what would you have picked in 2004? We're thinking.
San Andreas, probably.
That's not a bad take.
I would probably do San Andreas.
I think that's fine, right? As far as games go, I think San Andreas was really good.
And then, right under that, Paper Mario.
Okay. I was hoping you would say Metroid Prime or something. But...
No, that's third or something for me. I don't know. It's just Thousand Year Door was it's probably the best RPG aimed towards a kid ever.
I can see that. That's
I would say that an RPG is primarily targeted toward best RPG in terms of quality, gameplay,
for
music.
Kids, absolutely.
For kids, it's really for all ages, is what it is.
No, I hear what you're saying, but I wouldn't give it best game for all ages. well, maybe say best game for all ages. It's not the best RPG game to have come out around that time. Like, I would probably give that to, like, Morrowind or something.
No.
You wouldn't give that to Morrowind?
No. I don't even know if I would. What are we counting as this time? Like, you talk about, like...
within 3 or 4 years of it.
3 or 4 years?
Like, you got Morrowind, you got Oblivion, you got, like...
Oblivion did not come out within 3 years of 2004, did it?
The staples of... I'll tell you in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oblivion was 2006.
Dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, and so... Yeah, you've got... I don't know, man. I would not call Paper Mario probably be the best RPG of, like, this time period.
It's not.
Like, best RPG for, quote-unquote, all ages or children, I'll give it that 100%. Like, absolutely.
I'm torn right now. I'm going in 5 different directions in my head. Because, like, it's genuinely such a good game, and there's a reason why it got remade, like, 20 years later and everyone was, like, insane about it, is because it has that legacy of being, like, such an amazing RPG, an amazing game. And I agree it's an amazing game. Some people think it's, like, the best game ever, and I'm not, or best RPG ever, and I'm not there, but, it's...
I mean...
To me, that's what's sticking out in this list is, like, man, that game was awesome. That game should get recognition.
I think as far as Paper Mario goes, isn't it still one of the most popular ones?
Yeah, because it's the most popular not because it sold well or not because it's popular because it was good.
Yeah, it's the best of them.
Is that it had characters you can remember. It had, like, bosses that were fun.
Yeah.
It had it had a challenging, like, optional thing you could do where you have to beat, like, 100 floors in a row.
Yeah.
And like by the end of it got pretty tough, but you know, it's a simple RPG. It's not like gonna break your brain or anything.
Yeah.
But it was enjoyable. Very enjoyable, I would say.
Yeah. Okay, so what would you call the best RPG then?
The best RPG?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can answer
so far.
that. See, an RPG is such a stupid umbrella because that encompasses, like, so many different games.
It encompasses a lot. I guess let's specifically do, like, adventure RPG. How about that?
Adventure RPG?
Yeah.
Well, would Paper Mario even be considered that? Because that's a turn-based game.
I guess that would be considered turn-based, wouldn't it?
Yeah. If we're saying best adventure RPG of all time... Skyrim is definitely up there.
Skyrim is probably one of the best adventure RPGs.
Yes.
Turn-based RPG.
All right.
I guess if we say turn-based RPG, then Baldur's Gate goes in there.
Yeah, Baldur's Gate goes in there.
Yeah, which I would say is probably the best turn-based RPG.
I would also disagree with that, but that's okay.
What would you pick?
For best turn-based RPG?
Yeah.
Dude, you're hitting me with too many questions at once. All right. First of all, adventure RPG.
Yep.
I don't know if Xenoblade Chronicles fits into that.
It might.
I think that Xenoblade Chronicles that'd probably be my pick. If it is considered an adventure RPG. It's not turn-based, action RPG is more of what it is.
Yeah.
So that's like alongside with Kingdom Hearts and stuff
that's action RPG.
So, adventure RPG.
Yeah.
I'd give it to Skyrim.
Mm-hmm.
Or Fallout New Vegas. I think my heart's saying Fallout New Vegas.
Actually, that's such a good take.
Yeah. Because I like Skyrim. But New Vegas, like, I played it for the first time a couple years ago, and it hit me in a way.
That is.
You know, I understood why so many people wanted a New Vegas style Fallout game again.
Yeah.
Because of the skill systems and the way that the different endings are. You know, it's not like what some people. It's like, oh, this is like the pinnacle of philosophy, but you know, it's like they're good villains.
I might actually have to agree with that. Goodness, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I don't know, like for that, I suppose it would be between Fallout and Skyrim, but you know, way to go, Bethesda.
From 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Not right now.
Yeah, not current Bethesda, but old Bethesda. Well done.
Yeah. All right, adventure RPG.
Mm-hmm.
Action RPG, I'd give it to Xenoblade Chronicles. Best turn-based RPG, Persona 5.
Over Baldur's Gate.
Yes.
I don't know that I could agree with that.
You haven't even played it, man.
I've
played both.
All right, now you're gonna love Baldur's Gate more because it's your medieval game.
Yes,
it's D&D
it's
based,
D&D
which you love.
based,
You love all these
Yeah.
things. Persona has, like, I think, perfected, like, or all right, let me just say it hasn't perfected. It's pushed the ceiling for a turn-based RPG so much that it was hitting mainstream and hitting people that hate turn-based RPGs.
Okay.
So it, like,
you could say the same for Baldur's Gate, though.
I don't know. No, it's hilarious. Like, people were playing it and it got Game of the Year, but if you don't like Larian type tactical RPGs like that, I feel like you're still falling out of it.
I mean, that could
unless you really love the D&D like lore, which there are a lot of people.
Yeah.
But like, you're still gonna fall out of a Larian game, which that's no fault of Larian.
Yeah,
that's just
that's fair.
It's a specific game.
Do you think that problem doesn't exist for Persona?
No, because it broke into it broke into that wider audience in a way that they kept them with it the whole time. And this is like an 80-hour game, 100-hour game, and Baldur's Gate is also super long.
So it's 50 to 60-hour game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I really like the way Persona does like their scheduling, their schedule system, the way that you're on a time limit, and then you have certain only have a certain amount of actions per month, and then you can choose that to grow your relationships with people, and the relationships increase how you do your dungeon crawling.
I guess maybe I should go and play Persona.
It's on PC now.
Yeah.
It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been playing Frostpunk.
I know you have.
I've been giving it an honest try.
Yeah.
An honest try.
And how's that been going?
I'm working on it. It's
I watched you play some of it.
It's not clicking for me yet. I'm really trying to understand, like, I can't get my brain around the temperature system, or in a way where I feel like, because in decisions in other games, I'm like, oh, I should prepare for this, and then it pays off, and I'm like, man, I feel smart. In this game, I'm like, I should prepare for the temperature system, but I have no idea how to yet. So, and I've like restarted like 5 different times trying to figure out, like, all right, how does this piece fit together? And I will give credit for when we first talked about the game. Music's great.
Yes.
Atmosphere is great. I love the art style that they did with the different things, and I love the little you got like. So Frostpunk is like you're managing a dystopian like frozen over city, and you got like your workers. I'll give little comments at the bottom.
Yep.
I love how you can just be like, oh, you're complaining. I'm gonna. You're done. You're out. Yep. You can send them on like a scout and then just don't pick them up and then just leave them out there. So.
Yeah, it's fun because there's a lot of like RPG aspects to it.
Yes. What's been kind of barring me, like the thing in my head, is like I wish all the skill trees were like in one place. I think because there's so many trees and so many different windows that I have to swap between. And manage. That are like completely different. But it's like there's so many of them.
That's pretty normal for a city builder.
Yes. I know, and that's what's like. I think I'll like just be focusing on one of them and not giving enough time to a different one. Or it's like, oh, actually, this tree is like the important tree. You need to do this tree. Like this is the whole game right here.
They're
this tree.
All important.
Yeah,
trees.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like
it just feels important at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's just where I'm at with that. But I haven't been playing too much of that. I've been trying out. I've been going outside of my normal genres even more. I've been playing a more realistic racing game, which I typically don't enjoy that much. I've been playing Forza Horizon 4.
Okay.
Which I haven't played any Forza game.
Yep.
I know nothing about cars.
Yep.
It's pretty fun.
It is fun.
It's fun.
Most people consider Forza to not quite be a realistic racing game yet.
Well, alright, because the Forza Horizon games are like the fun, like whatever, like I think your Forza Motorsports is more of like
that's
your
the racetrack and
like in Horizon I can rewind. Yeah. Which is great. I love
it. You can do that in Motorsport too.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's like a trick of Forza.
It's like I'm working on I'm slowly getting warmer and warmer with that game. It's just they build it so or the way you control it is like it's like a real car. Which like sounds cool in theory,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel right to me when I'm playing it.
Yeah.
Like on a controller, you know?
Yeah.
Like when I go out and drive my car, like it's an extension of my body. I know what's going on.
Yep.
But to see those actions in a virtual space controlled through a controller, I'm just like, ugh, this is weird.
Yeah. I mean, if you obviously don't do it, but the Logitech controller and pedal set is fairly cheap.
Yeah.
I use my brother's every now and then, and we have a setup where we put, the VR headset on. And
Oh,
so you're
sweet.
First person in it.
See, like that sounds like a cool experience.
It is,
I mean, all right, Horizon is cool.
Yep.
I'll give it up. It's like a lot of they're trying really hard to be like a base appeal.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to be super into everything
Yeah.
to like have fun. There are a lot of different types of events you can do, and that's been fun. Been enjoying it.
Yeah, I like Horizons.
It's
I've played
still
it.
not really my game.
I mean, that's completely fair.
You
I
know?
don't blame you for that. I mean,
And I just think it's because I'm not really a car guy.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not into cars and cars aren't cool, then you're not gonna be super cool.
I'm trying to. I'm opening my brain up, and I'm like, I'm trying to expand where I'm at. And I'm like, all right, I'm super into cars right now. I'm gonna like, all right, what's this? I want to learn as much as I can about cars while playing this game.
Yeah, I played, like, growing up, I played the EA NASCAR game.
Yes.
And that one, you could adjust your torque and everything else, and, you do your qualifying laps, and then you do your actual race, and...
Yes.
So, I don't know, I dig cars. I like cars.
Well, I liked the racing game. It's not really realistic. It's like it was called Pure on the Xbox 360, but it was a 4-wheeler, like, ATV.
Yep.
Racing game, and that game was super cool because it was like you could bump into people, you could kick people off, you could do these ginormous jumps.
Yeah.
There's like huge, like unrealistic jumps, and you could do like your like chain trick after trick after trick on it. And that stuff was sick. I like that, and also the maps were really cool too. But and I'm getting a little bit of that feeling from Forza.
Yeah.
But right now, I feel like what's doing it for me is and with most realistic racing games, and again, I don't know if Forza really falls into that, and because of real life, there's not many elevation changes.
Yes.
And so it's hard for me to really find a spot on the map and be like, this is different. This is like a landmark.
I would recommend, if you're looking for something like that, to find a rally racing game.
Yeah.
Because those, your car's in the air, you're doing whatever. Those can be pretty gritty and fun. I don't remember if Horizons has a rally mode.
Yeah, and also it's like I don't take it that seriously, so really my like racing game experience is like Mario Kart.
I mean, that's completely fair. And if you don't want to sink a bunch of time and take it really seriously, I probably wouldn't get into the realistic racing games.
Yes. Well, I'm trying. Don't want to be genophobic or anything.
I know. That being said, I have American Truck Simulator.
Yeah.
We could drive trucks around America if you want.
That could be a funny video.
It could be a funny video. I can steal my brother's wheel and I can just drive around.
Yeah.
Maybe we do a drink and drive episode.
I like that idea. Nice. I like that. Yeah. But yeah, maybe it just takes being with someone to crash with.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like the cars are cool, but the numbers and stuff mean nothing to me. So
yeah,
I'm just like, that car is something.
That's completely fair.
I want orange. So that's as far as my car expertise goes. Well, yeah.
I mean, life has been good. Life is exciting. And new games, old games, all games.
Oh, and I don't think we actually said, but Half-Life 2 definitely gets Game of the Year.
Yes. In case we weren't clear, Half-Life 2 definitely gets Game of the Year.
Yes.
No doubt about it.
Yeah. But 2004, pretty great year.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
Next time, we're going to be talking about 2005.
I don't remember many games from 2005.
Neither do I, but we'll find out next week.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end.
I've been Micah.
And I've been Cade. Thank you again.
Adios.